Hurricane, a tidal wave, essence perfect, life looks brilliance, give me more of this. I'm out of control, about to blow, and I've been caught in the undertow. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, yeah, you're burying me, You've got me hypnotized, push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my head.
You're watching OLE, and this is a Dijak Hijack.
It sure is, and welcome to OLE's post show for WWE's Clash at the Castle. I'm Bobby Munson, and joining me here on the panel today, Mark Robson of Mark Talks Wrestling, Mark Talks Football, Mark Talks Gaming. My mate, how are you doing, friend?
Oh, I'm bloody marvellous. We've had a PLE in England, Scotland, in Britain, and by God, did they absolutely come out today. I'm so excited.
Yo, I'm excited too, because guess what? It's only 3 p.m. here. The pay-per-view is done. We get this show done with, and my night continues as we got our good friend Ed Fries coming in saying, "My girls are champs." We'll get to there very momentarily, Ed. And then we got Chris Parrish joining us in the house. Parrish, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us as well too on the post show. So Mark, what an interesting event. The crowd was hot. Once again, international crowds continuing to show that they can be loud, they can be exciting, they can be boisterous. So we talked a little bit before going live about our overall thoughts of this, and we'll get to our overall thoughts towards the end. But let's start with the opening match, starting off with the WWE Championship matchup right out of the gates, the I Quit match between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles. I'm going to get my little nitpick out of the way. The first few minutes of the match, I was a little disappointed. They go right to the outside, start doing the outside stuff. I think that could have been reserved for later on in the matchup. Other than that, these two are great professionals. The wrestling that they put on is fantastic. The spot where AJ goes to give the phenomenal forearm with the chain wrapped around, and Cody throws the chair, and AJ lands through the table on the outside, was set up to perfection and executed brilliantly by two great in-ring professionals. Again, they had a banger match last time. I wouldn't say this was quite as strong as the last one, but if you love the gimmick matches, this was loaded with the gimmick there for you to add to it. Still great. Makes Cody look like a hell of a champion fighting off, top competition like AJ Styles, such as this. I liked it. Good way to open the show. Your thoughts?
Yeah, they're going to have to go with a bang, because the Scottish crowd were going to be flat because their team got absolutely annihilated by the Germans in the Euros, and rightly so, to be fair. So the opening match had to give the crowd a massive boost. And for me, I'm very much of give me as much gimmick as you possibly can. I'm a very simple man. Go over the top. As people will know, I'm a very simple human being. And I just thought AJ Styles can... The thing is with AJ Styles, right, and I was thinking this during the match and where he's going, and I went, this feels like AJ Styles has gone, I haven't gone long left. I'm just going to throw myself into absolutely everything. And I'm going to go out with a bang. And it felt like that. It felt like this was AJ Styles. I don't know where he goes from here. The rumblings that his contract is coming down. There is talk of him potentially turning up in TNA to do a little bit over there. There's talk that he could go to New Japan. There's a lot of companies that want him just for a small stint to put people over, or for one last run for him. But for me, I want to see AJ Styles, and this is going to be weird. I want to see AJ Styles turn up in NXT. I feel like this AJ Styles will be able. He doesn't have to hold the title. What he can do is build a faction, get rid of the other two because they do my nutting anyway, and build a faction of young up and coming stars who AJ can help. But I don't think we're ever going to see that. And what Ed's put there is a load of bollocks. In the comments is a load of crap.
I mean, let's not deny the French crowd were quite electric.
Yeah, they were great, but you don't get in a French crowd AJ Styles, what a wanker. You don't get any of that. And you don't get the foul language that you get from the Brits. So you just don't get it. But for me, Cody Rhodes, I don't know what it is with Cody Rhodes, right? I'm very much I love Cody Rhodes, as you can tell. I've got his very first T-shirt when he very first come back. But every time Cody Rhodes steps in the ring, I get more and more impressed, but I don't know why. Like, I shouldn't be shocked at how good he is, but I still am every single time. But the bit that made me laugh, but it was really good, was when the mum tried to slap. And if you watch, she went the first time and went, "Oh, I don't really want to do this." And then she went once and went, "Fuck it, let's go again." And she was like, got into it a bit too much. I really like that, and I like the way the story played out. And if you do go onto the YouTube channel on WWE, about 10-15 minutes after the match is a video of WWE saying AJ Styles had to be taken to the nearest medical facility due to injury. So I don't know whether they're doing a Ricochet type thing where they're writing him off or what's going to happen next. But that was, and I'm going to use the pun, phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. I do like how audibly Mama Rhodes also calling AJ Styles an asshole quite out loud during this one as well too.
She embraced the Scottish culture.
Oh,
let's put it that way. And I was like, yes, go on.
That Scottish crowd was definitely a whole lot of mean towards who they wanted to be mean to tonight. But yeah, it was a solid opener, and I think that was both a treat and also a detriment. And the detriment, I'm going to say, is because leading into this next match, which I don't know if everybody else is going to be against me on this one. And I know, again, going over to here where Ed is saying my girls are champs.
Before we get into that,
like this. Okay, go ahead.
I want to talk about an image. I want to talk about an image that happened after the match. I'm going to see if I can put it on here. Okay? I'm going to see
about Randy staring down that belt.
So there's this sort of image here. I'm going to see if I can do it on here, because if I can, I'm an absolute legend. If I'm not, I'm an idiot with technology. So here we go. How am I going to do this? Hold on.
Underneath the brand, overlay, upload.
See, this is why I love you. This is why I love you.
Making life easier for you. But I'm pretty sure, because again, you're talking about in the aftermath, when the Bloodline attacking Cody, we got Randy Orton and KO come out to help save the day, and then there's kind of that image, and I'm sure that's the one. If you got it ready, let me know. But yeah, it kind of that stare down right there, that belt, shiny golden belt that Randy's probably going to want to get his hands on. Do we see that matchup coming up SummerSlam?
Oh, see, there is reports from Mr. Tom Colicue that the plan for SummerSlam was Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa.
Okay.
That is WWE's aim. I think we're seeing this at WrestleMania.
Interesting.
Because I have a real funny fit. Right. I'm going to go on a real big limb here. Okay. I have a feeling that, so ignore me while I fantasy book in my brain out loud. So Money in the Bank is going to go to a Raw brand. I think we can probably agree with this slightly. I think it probably is going to go there. And I have a funny feeling that at Money in the Bank, we're going to get Randy Orton with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline, which will then somehow set up for SummerSlam Solo Sikoa versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. I have a funny feeling a certain tribal chief will be coming back at SummerSlam. And I feel like he's going after one person and one person only. And it is not Cody Rhodes. I feel like that he's gonna come back and he's going to spear the hell out of Solo Sikoa, walk out the ring. It's gonna hit with a pin, and somehow Randy Orton's gonna RKO him at the end of SummerSlam. Right? They're gonna come out, celebrate, do all of that, and then there's gonna be an RKO. I think that's how it's gonna be done. But this is leading to War Games, where I'm seeing the new bloodline versus Roman's bloodline in a War Games match. And see, I don't see. It's WrestleMania. The story you can, because at WrestleMania you're going to get The Rock versus Roman. I think that's guaranteed because it's Vegas. And I think you're going to get Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes. And I think you're going to get Drew McIntyre or CM Punk versus Gunther for the world title. Because I think at SummerSlam, Gunther's we'll get to that later on. But Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton at WrestleMania, just by legacy and by the storytelling that it's so easily done, that's where you do it. And I think this image, I feel like something inside of me is telling me that Randy Orton's going to win it. Just to get that Ric Flair stuff. Anyway, fantasy booking over with.
And Ned believes Cody versus Rock at Mania. So I guess we'll see how it all unfolds moving forward. But moving on from there, we go over to the women's tag team title match. And, you know, I get it. They won. Great moment. But that was about the only nice take I could say about this thing. I think this match was a mess. It was a very large mess. I think this showed some of the still, you know, I want to call it being green. It shouldn't be this green at this point. Jade didn't look as good in this match as in the one previously, as the one in France, in my opinion. I think there was a lot of mistakes made, a lot of lack of selling done. Congratulations to the new champs. They did fine. The crowd was good behind them. This was my least favorite match of the entire card, in my opinion. I get putting the title. As soon as they put the titles on them, I'm like, there's thanks for coming out, Scotland. Here's the champs we will give you, because you're not getting Piper and you're not getting Drew. That's exactly what that story told me right there. How about yourself?
I disagree. I think so. For me, Jade Cargill has improved so much over the time that she's been here, and it's not the first time that someone slipped on the top rope, as we will find out later on. Yeah. So I don't know whether the amount of sweat or whatever it happened on those ropes did not help anyone today. I thought Shayna and Zoe. I think Shayna, for me, has improved a lot recently through a lot of the stuff that she's doing. I really enjoy her. Zoe, I need to see a lot more stuff from. She had that big push when she first got called up from NXT, and then it sort of faded away a bit, and then it needs to come back a bit. I need to see a little bit more of Zoe. But we're going to talk about the mistake. And for me, Jade had a really good match up until that point. And then what happened was panic mode set in. And I can see what happened, because I've done it before, not in a wrestling ring, but in life. When a little thing goes wrong, you then try and do things to catch up with it, or do things to get things done quicker. And then there's a ripple effect of not greatness that happens after that. So for me, I was like, Jade and Bianca are absolutely steamrolling this, and I'm really enjoying what I'm seeing. And then that incident happened, and then you could just tell, like, there was a point just before the finish where she does the move. Jade does the move to Shayna, and as she does it, she then leans over to Shayna, and I know she's trying to do it because she feels bad about what she did before. You could just tell that the character broke. Her character broke, and then she was just trying to find ways of making up for what she's done. And then you could just see her leaning over going, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? And then that's when Isla Dawn then come in, suplexed Jade out of the ring, and then took the pinfall. And you could just tell it was one of those things where, right, I'm going to shit on AEW here. And I did it on TikTok, and they tried to roast me, but I got more likes from it, so I don't care. Was, for me, Jade's now in an environment where everyone's there to help. Everyone's there to push you forward. She might have had that before. I'm not saying she didn't. What I'm saying is you're going to learn. This is a completely different environment to AEW. So when you come to WWE, you are far behind of the development where you should be at a certain point, in my opinion, okay? Mm-hmm. So you can take this as what you want. In my opinion, you could have as much training as you possibly can in different schools, classes, but when you step foot into a WWE, it's a completely different machine. And you're going to make mistakes. Look at Maxine Dupree, right? She did a live event and got booed out of the building. And people rallied behind her. And you can see the improvements. She's not a wrestler. Maxine Dupree was never coming into WWE to do that. But she improved and got better. With Jade as well, I feel like she's there. But then there's this confidence issue that needs to be. She's got the ability and she's got the strength. It's confidence, and that really triggered it for me tonight. Was the way she really tried to fumble her way back into it. It was like, shit, I need to do this. No, not yet. I need to. Fuck. And that's when I realized I was like, but someone needs to pull her to one side and really help her with that.
See, you're hitting the nail on the head with her right there. And that's the thing, is that when I say green, I mean the fact that she knows the moves. She knows what she's supposed to do next, but she's anticipating it, and she's not adapting to, if something goes wrong, roll on with it, move into what works kind of thing. She's not adaptable in the sense to think logically in a wrestling ring to go, oh, that didn't work, let's change this to keep the momentum going in the right possible way. She's thinking about her next move that she was told she needs to do. Oh, I was told I have to do this, and then you could see the steps were off. One time when I think it was Shayna was going for a spinning forearm into Jade, all of a sudden Shayna had to lean even more forward because Jade wasn't in position to take the move at the time, because Jade was in her own head at the time. And I'm not trying to overly criticize too at the same, like, I mean, I was higher on what I saw out of Jade in France than this. I also think, like, again, this is not taken away from the title change, because again, nothing wrong with the new champions in any way, but this felt like a quick turnaround for a team that you're presenting as an actual team for the first time ever. They've got matching outfits and all this kind of stuff. I also don't like triple threats for the sake of triple threats. I really think it's a gimmick that doesn't need to be overused, and it gets overused. Zoe Stark and Baszler didn't need to be in this thing at all. This could have been a standard tag team matchup, and it could have been a lot more effective, in my opinion. But I don't know. I think they lost the point with this one. I think that this match.
See, this is where I'm going to disagree with you. I'm looking through stats. Okay, so these are the stats. So so here we go. Let's go to Jade Cargill. She started wrestling in 2021. Yeah. In that time, since 2021, she's had 85 matches. Mm-hmm. Okay, and we're going to talk about another wrestler here who went to NXT, did the development, and still not getting the Zoe Stark. So she's had 166 matches in her time. So for me, 85 matches in my brain, okay, is nothing. Is you're not even scratching the surface of learning. You're not even scratching the surface of being in types of things and matches of where to go. And then if you compare that as well with this as well, if I go back on my screen here, and if I go to Bianca Belair, who Bianca Belair has been wrestling since 2016, basically, she's had 524 matches in that time.
Yeah.
So for me, Jade Cargill, I look at Jade Cargill as someone that's just come into the performance center and learning how to do things. She's got it all, but she hasn't been in certain situations like today. Today's going to be a big tell for me what happens to Jade Cargill in the future, because she had that high moment in France where the crowd were going and they were going on and they were really, and then you have this low moment of Scotland, of Clash of the Car. How is she going to bounce back from it? That's what I want to see. I want to see the mentality of her, what she's going to do next. And I also want to say, and I'm going to go on to the champions here now, I want to talk about Alba Fire just quickly. Yeah, not only a few days ago, her mother passed away from a tragic accident in Florida. She's flown all the way over to Scotland in front of family to win the title. Now, let's talk about Alba Fire, who, in my opinion, is absolutely shitty tits. I've knocked my mic and everything's gone over. It all went wrong there, people. To me, is one of the unsung heroes, as you can see by the posts on X, when all of the women wrestlers were going Mama Alba, or the person behind the backstage that helps everyone. And if you look at her, she started wrestling in 2009. She's had 688 matches in that time, and she has won the SWE Speaking Championship, the Scottish Women's Championship as Kaylee Ray, Scottish Southside, ICW Women's Championship twice. She's won the ICW World Women's Championship 3 times, NXT UK Championship, the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, and now WWE Tag Team Women's Champion. And I have to say, for all of the stuff that she's been through, everything that's gone through, I am so happy that she's won these championships, and they absolutely deserve it.
100%. Again, like, the finish itself was worth it in the end. I think that was the highlight and everything. The nice celebrating with the family and everything like that, and understanding the overcoming tragedy to even be there in the first place. I applaud that. I don't want to take away with my opinion of the match. Again, I'm really not on board with triple threat matches very often. I really don't feel they're necessary. I really still feel like a regular tag match would have been better placed here, personally. As we say hello to Bobby Stats joining us in the house. Bobby, how are you doing, my friend? Glad you're here. Also saying Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are great. I agree with you, my friend. Bianca versus Jade looks to be heading to SummerSlam, says Ed. I know, and I hope that Bianca's ready to really carry that match and call it properly, because to me, Jade is still light years behind where she needs to be for the position that she's currently in. And again, I'm not saying she won't get there, and I hope she does, but I fear for the quick breakup of a tag team for her. I felt like this was a good way to protect her in the interim while she learned a little bit more on television. I don't know if they're going to pull the trigger on a singles run already. I hope that it's done right. I hope it looks good, and I hope that they're going to have Jade preparing in the interim quite a bit. Bobby saying he's doing great. Glad to hear it, my friend. We are going to move on from there, though, Mark, to, I'm sure, what was your favorite finish of the entire card? The Intercontinental title match between Chad Gable with Otis and Maxine Dupree on the outside, taking on champion Sami Zayn. You know what? I think I'm going to even say I'm on board with you. I thought the title was changing. I thought Gable was finally going to get it. You change his character up. You change up the gimmick finally from this goofy shoosh crap that I've been so highly against this whole time to this very intense, great in-ring performer. And you have him go in there and put on this banger match, and then you fluff it up with garbage towards the end, only to have Sami retain. What the hell are they going to do with Gable? What are you doing? This is the problem. This is again why, like, they're losing it with LA Knight right now too, because again, when you've got a hot commodity, you're doing something right with a new gimmick, and you don't do something to pull the trigger, something to push them forward, it starts to become stale and people get bored of it, especially in a modern era. I don't know why they didn't pull the trigger here tonight. I know I'm not really big on hot potatoing titles, and I know Sammy's just recently won it, but damn it, Sami wouldn't have been hurt by taking the loss here tonight, and it would have done wonders for Chad Gable moving forward. I'm quite disappointed in what was otherwise a solid wrestling match that I enjoyed. I just couldn't get on board with the way they booked the ending. How about I'm going over to you, Mark. What do you think? There it is.
So I was absolutely fuming. I was losing my mind. Let's put it that way. And I went, this is bullshit. This is bollocks. I'm sick of this. And then I sat there and I thought, right? And I went to myself.
There it is again.
That man, right? I'm gonna be serious before I get into the jokey shit. That man looks like he's about to decapitate someone, right? And I think we're about to get. So we all know now that Chad Gable has signed his new contract extension. He has reported it himself through Gorilla that he will be staying with WWE moving forward. Now, I think I know where this is going. And I think I'm going to try and predict this correctly. At SummerSlam, this man will be winning the Intercontinental Championship. Okay. Between now and then, he is going to take out all the members that were in Alpha Academy one by one. He's going to take Akira Tozawa completely out of the picture. He's then going to try and find a way of getting Maxine Dupree out of the picture. And then it's going to get Chad Gable versus Otis at Money in the Bank. And what I think's going to happen is that's when we get the introduction to the new and improved Alpha Academy. Now, we all know who that's going to be. It's been teased and teased for months. And we know that, as I call them, the Brutus brothers, as I call them, they're going to be the ones who's going to take out Otis. They're going to destroy and annihilate Otis, who will then move on to SummerSlam, where they're going to help him win the Intercontinental Championship. I think Chad Gable today, now that I've had time away from it and thinking about it, has now added a new layer to himself, because this face, and I have to say, this face, when he did it and did not move, did not blink, didn't do anything apart from stare and shake, was a man that is a new layer to his character. And I have to say, I'm very on board if this is how I think this is going to go. And if it is, WWE are adding more layers. And we've got to think as well, if you remember, there was an interview over the weekend where they talked about what's the difference between Chad Gable being under Triple H and Chad Gable being under He Who Shall Not Be Named. And the difference he said straight away was, as soon as Triple H got in charge, I had more singles matches. I was put out more. I was presented more. I was adding more layers to my character. And I feel like there's this thing with Chad Gable and Triple H where Triple H trusts him, but he wants to add stuff to him to get to that point. And I do think if Chad Gable wins this title, and I know that Ed, when we talked about this recently, talking about maybe having this championship as a hot potato, I think, and I have to say, the crowd calling him just the shit Kurt Angle and do Gable is a wanker was epic, by the way. Loved it. Is adding layers, and I feel like if he wins this at SummerSlam, he will keep that till WrestleMania.
Fair enough. I would be on board with it. Again, I really like Chad Gable as an in-ring performer, so I'd like to see more done. I was, again, like you say, disappointed with the ending, but like you brought forth, I could get behind it. If we're just going to see a that much more aggressive Chad Gable moving forward, and it's going to lead to that, then okay. Well, I'll accept this one for sure. So we got Bobby mentioning.
It's literally that face at the end. I don't think I've seen anyone with a stern that doesn't look disappointed, that looks like that the next person that could say hi to him, he's going to kill you, like silently. He's not going to make any noise. He's just going to kill you silently with that he wants to do. That's why I feel like there's this new layer to Chad Gable to come.
Fair enough. Bobby saying I'd be interested to see if WWE send Chad Gable to TNA for a match or two. I don't think it's going to happen again. I think that, it's nice that door's been opened up, and I think it's going to be used sporadically at times, but I don't think that you're going to see someone like Chad Gable in the position that he's in right now. Would it be great? Sure. There's some great opponents for him over there. Definitely. I just don't. Oh yeah, 100%. I just don't think it's. I just don't think it's going to be a thing. Not anytime too soon, anyway.
I don't see anyone that's on Raw or SmackDown going to TNA at some point. The only one I can see is AJ Styles, maybe Drew, because of the history he's got. But that I don't see anyone who's above the mid card going to TNA.
Fair enough. No, I agree with you. Second last match of the evening here was Bayley defending the WWE Women's Championship against Piper Niven with, in her corner, Chelsea Green. God, I'm terrible.
He did it! He did it!
So again, the moments with Chelsea Green throughout this thing were quite funny. Samantha Irvin actually getting to do the announcement of Chelsea's name finally once again. Her getting the boot from the arena in the first place, only to come back later as her luchadora self. I mean, I like that's a bit of comedy that I can get behind. That worked. It was funny. This match was solid. This was a solid matchup between these two ladies. I think they really took it to one another. It was really a good job of having Piper seem like the dominant force within the matchup. Babyface Bayley always fighting from underneath like a babyface needs to, which eventually led to the crucifix pin being used against Piper in this case. Bayley getting the 1, 2, 3. This was well done. Well laid out. Finish made sense. It didn't make Piper look bad in the process either. That is the key point here. Piper looked like someone who contends for a belt. She looked strong. She looked like she didn't get the job done here tonight, but unleash her one more time and watch what could happen. So I think they're building up a more badass, violent version of Piper Niven, which would be great moving forward. I don't know that I would immediately get her into the title picture again. I might have her steamroll through some opponents and really build that credibility up. And then you could pull the trigger on a Piper Niven title run. I think that is still down the line for sure. Definitely wasn't going to be tonight, even though, I mean, you could make the argument for it. They could have done it tonight. I mean, being in Scotland and everything like that. But I just had a feeling like there's more to Bayley's title run to come. I didn't see it ending here tonight, unfortunately. I mean, what do I mean, unfortunately? I have no problem with Bayley's title run. Bayley's a fantastic wrestler. So I just mean, for the people of Scotland, I'm sure that they were gutted, as you would say, that their hometown hero did not get to take the victory.
And I want to add on to that as well. And I think I can't add on to anything else what you said. You perfectly summed that up. But there was one thing that Piper Niven did that I don't think many people realize. When she stepped foot into the ring, she lifted up a knee and there was writing on it. And it had Adrian on it. Now, to you guys that don't know, Adrian in Scottish wrestling was called Lionheart. And unfortunately, he passed away many years ago. And during that time, Lionheart was one of the biggest names in Scottish wrestling, in UK wrestling, shall we say. He was the stalemate for, if you wanted to be big, you went up against him. If you wanted to make a name for yourself, you wrestled him. He was the man that you had to go through to make it on to the next level. And he was one of those who trained Piper Niven in Scotland. And and it was really nice to see. I saw someone talk about that on X, and I wanted to talk about it on here as well, just to give a little. Some people, if you don't know who Lionheart is, please go over to YouTube, check him out. He was brilliant at what he did. So unfortunately, he's no longer with us. But with El Generic Green turning up as well with the mask, it absolutely made me piss myself, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And I don't see Piper Niven holding that title anytime soon. I feel like that was a good thing, but what I do think this does is it helps her to get more matches on the main roster a bit more. I think that's what it's done. It's made her get more matches, and I do think this as well. I think Bayley's title reign will be coming to an end at SummerSlam. It will be close to coming around at there because I think there's certain Nia Jax will be taking that title at some point, and I think she will be holding that title for a very long time, in my opinion. But at the same time, I keep saying SummerSlam, there could be title changes. WWE don't like normally doing a lot of title changes, but if it's between Bayley losing her title to Nia Jax or Gunther winning his title, I'm going with Gunther any day of the bloody week. So for me, I think it would be interesting. I love Bayley. She still hasn't answered the question from the Scottish crowd if she will be their girl. We're still waiting for the answer. She's still not answering, and we need to know the answer, Bayley, if you're watching this. We want to know if the UK, if you're going to be our girl. Thank you very much.
You guys have been asking for years and still haven't got an answer.
Fucking years.
Bobby coming in saying Chelsea Green should be in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match or wrestle Bayley, in Canada next month. Of course, I mean, because Chelsea Green is Canadian, so why shouldn't she be in there, be a hometown hero inside the Money in the Bank? I don't know if she will be. I mean, it's very possible. That would be fantastic if she got to. It's completely the opposite side of the country that she's from, but still, everybody, they're going to cheer for a hometown hero. That would be great. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Chelsea Green has done phenomenal work since coming back to WWE. I think Chelsea Green also is great in the sense that she doesn't seem like someone who's trying to push their way to be the number one person. She likes where she is. It at least feels that way. She likes the position she's in and the work that she gets to do. I think it's a hell of a lot of fun. I think she's done a fantastic job being in the spot she's been right now with WWE.
Do you know what I want to see Chelsea Green do? Lose her Money in the Bank match qualifier. And I want her to be like a proper Karen, right? Really complain. And then she doesn't get what she wants. And then when the Money in the Bank ladder match is happening, she just runs out and tries to grab the briefcase anyway. And she goes, well, I can't get what I want to do it. But she said in an interview, I think with Chris Van Vliet, a little while ago, she says, not everyone's going to hold titles. Not everyone's going to win all the matches. So why don't I just, my character is to go out there and have fun and do stuff, that's what I'm going to do. And you know what? I like that. It's refreshing.
Yeah.
And I really like that. And I think she does an excellent job at what she does. So let's see what happens. I do. I want her to hold a champion. I would love her to hold a world title just for the amount of annoyingness she could bring to that title, Ned, and how many people she could annoy during it. It would just be absolutely beautiful.
Oh, of course it would. Is Asher coming in saying Hunter said the security teams make the future wrestlers? Well, yes, they do. 100%. Oh, that's a fantastic comment. But yes, great matchup. Bayley retains. And then moving on from there, we have our main event of the evening. And it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. We got champion Damian Priest taking on Drew McIntyre. And if you didn't see the finish to this one coming, well, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but it's time to get out from there, because the only logical booking way out of this match without putting that belt onto Drew McIntyre in front of his hometown crowd in the main event was to have the man who doesn't care if he's loved or hated for the actions that he does, the biggest prick in the history of professional wrestling, comes on out to cost Drew the matchup, setting up their inevitable match for SummerSlam. Oh my God, can you believe it? They're actually pre-setting up things for an event down the road. Holy shit, who would have thought that kind of booking would have been logical in modern day professional wrestling? This was great. These guys slugged it out. This was a solid main event. And man, and like you talked about the slippery ropes earlier in the night, a very, very scary moment for Priest. When he hit that rope, went upside down, the ropes caught him, which thank goodness in that sense. Love the fact that here you go with a professional. Drew McIntyre realizes that the spot that was supposed to happen doesn't happen. He doesn't just sit back and go, okay, well, I'll just wait until things settle down here. No, he goes in there. He starts hammering on Priest. Then he gets back in. And as he's untangling Priest, instead of the announcers going like, oh, look, he's helping him out because we're all friends around here. No, they actually sell the fact that, you can't beat the champion while he's tangled up in the rope. So Drew is drawing the opponent back in. Clever on the behalf of the announcers, clever on the half of Drew. What a scary moment. Glad Priest is not seriously injured after this, and somebody check those damn ropes. I don't know what they did to them, but they're about as slippery as the feet of the Scotland football team yesterday when they played against Germany. But oh my God, this was a solid match. I loved every second of it. Punk got a treatment from the Scottish crowd after that one. Middle fingers right in the air, a whole lot of mud being flung the way of CM Punk. This was brilliant booking. Well done. Excellent matchup.
Mark? Yeah, and it was quite funny because before the match even started, Wade Barrett said, if Drew McIntyre wins, he's British. If he loses, he's Scottish. And then everyone was like, what? And they were like, yeah. And then as soon as he said that, I laughed and I went, that is what we do over in the UK. It's exactly what we do. If you win, you're British. If you lose, you're that country. You're Welsh, you're Scottish. You're never English. The English never lose. That's the good thing about being English, is we never lose until probably tomorrow. So,
oh, no.
But no, and do you know what? You can't put anyone else in CM Punk's position than what CM Punk did. Because if it was anyone else, they would have tried to climb that barricade to fight easily. Yeah. That's what the Scottish are like. But if you watch the clip, CM Punk does it, gets out the ring, and then start hugging fans that got CM Punk tops on. I was like, this is amazing. This is brilliant.
Still one of the Scotsmen in the crowd came up to that entire crew and starts flipping the bird right in their faces. It was great.
It was the point of when he won and when he did the kick and he rolled out and he just stood there like this. And there's this fan literally right here just flipping him off. And I went and if I was CM Punk, I would have gone to him. It was brilliant. So I'm going to be controversial here.
Okay.
I don't want to be because Astrid's here and she's going to hate me. I really don't want
to. As she's talking about mi campion, hopefully.
Yeah.
Please tell me I got that right. I'm glad he retained. I'm glad he retained too, because again, it's going to be that much more beautiful when he drops it to the eventual world champion and the never-ending champion moving forward, the Ring General Gunther.
So Damian Priest has improved and has proved me wrong.
He's fantastic.
I didn't think he was going to do it, but there's something missing from him that I'm not connected. There's something missing from either the Damian Priest character or Damian Priest himself or the world title run that I'm not connecting with. Now, this is when I say personal. I'm not saying it's connected with everyone else. When I talk, it's about me. He gets overshadowed a lot by the Judgment Day. He doesn't have that authority figure that Rhea Ripley has. And I thought that if he had this world title, he'd be able to do it. But you've got Liv Morgan trying to get Dominic Mysterio to be her daddy. By the way, that line. You've got Dominic Mysterio bringing people in when he wants, and he's got all of that stuff. You've got Finn Balor that's taking the room key and doing stuff on the side. I do think that at Money in the Bank, I think at Money in the Bank, we're going to be getting Damian Priest versus Finn Balor. And I feel like we're going to start seeing the end now of the Judgment Day. And then at SummerSlam, he's obviously going to lose that title to the Ring General because he's never going to win that.
Sorry to say. It's going to be a hell of a match. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. In ring, I have nothing against Damian Priest whatsoever. I love his work in the ring. He's improved so. But there's something out of the ring that I'm not connecting with. And it's really irritating because I really like him. But there's just certain things that he does. I go, no.
I mean, I gotta say it. I love a lot of people in the ring until they get in there with Gunther, and then all of a sudden you're just the next stupid bastard in Gunther's path. I mean, Sorry to tell you. He's winning that belt, and he's going to be carrying that belt for a long time. A very long time.
I think Gunther won't hold that title as long as what people think. I think he's going to be holding that title to WrestleMania.
Fair.
Where
That's still a solid run.
Yeah, that is still, and I think he will be losing that to Drew McIntyre, who will then go on from it. From there, I do think that's how things are going to go. But what I'm more interested in is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Is how are they going to do it? Because you can't be going in there unless CM Punk's put on a lot of muscle since he's been in WWE. A lot of muscle. He looks a lot bigger than what he has done before. Are they going to do the old classic big meaty men slapping meat, or are they going to be a little bit more careful because of Punk's history of stepping in the ring and sneezing and then out for 6 months? I don't know. But CM Punk, by the way, he gets a lot of shit, and he rightly deserves it in most of the time. But by God, does that man get a reaction no matter where he goes? And he's money. He's money. And that's the thing that WWE see. They see money out of him.
All right. Yeah. Well, I think aside from that, the only other thing to quickly mention, which is going to tie into Monday a little bit more than anything, we will go to our kind of overall thought of the show here right away, Mark. But another QR code shown here tonight. The warning has been laid down. The massacre is coming. And I believe that it sounds like Monday night is the time that the massacre is going to occur. Everybody has been warned. And whether it's Uncle Howdy, the Wyatt Six, or whatever we're going to be calling this group, I believe that the final reveal is now coming this Monday night by the sounds of it. Your thoughts on this going down?
I am so excited for... Okay, so I've got to put this with I am a massive Bray Wyatt fan. I always was, always have been. Love the man. He got me through dark times, all of that. And I'm so sad that he's no longer with us. But I'm really, really looking forward to Bo Dallas's interpretation of what he wants to do with this. I want to see... So this is my thinking behind this. I think you've got Bray Wyatt's vision, and then you've got Bo now going to take that. And I think this is Bo's chance now to... Okay, I do apologize if there's anyone watching. Excuse the language. He needs to grab this by the massive bucks, and he needs to really, really go for this. There can't be... We all know who's sort of in the group. I think we can all sort of... All right, Bobby, let's play a game. I want you to name who you think's going to be in it, and I'll name who I think's going to be in it.
Well, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that one of those people is Bo Dallas. I think that's the no-brainer right there.
Yeah, we're going to go with him, yeah.
We got Dexter Lumis. We got Joe Gacy.
Yeah.
We've got Nikki Cross.
Yeah.
Presumably Alexa Bliss as well, too.
There's one more you're missing as well.
For the 6-member, I mean, it's Eric Rowan. Sorry, it's 100% Eric
Rowan. yeah, it's him. It's definitely him.
I mean, he was pulled out of independent dates, and clearly we haven't seen him yet, so it's him.
Yeah, and I'm very interested to see who plays who, because one of them's going to have to play the Fiend. I think that's one of the Wyatt Sixes. Because I think one of them apparently is going to be Joe Gacy, who plays as the Fiend. Is going to be him.
I'm going to beg to differ, and this is where my hope comes in, because again, with Wyatt, and again, I loved his character work a lot, and I thought when he was the leader, the Swamp Leader, I thought was a lot more interesting than the Fiend, and only because I don't like... If you're going to play supernatural, you look at The Undertaker and you understand that you're not so supernatural, your ass can't be beat. And when you're getting hit with fucking sledgehammers, that pissed me off. When that sledgehammer is being smashed into the Fiend and he's popping up like nothing happened and not selling shit, that pissed me off. And I don't like that stuff. So I'm praying this group is less supernatural and more of a cult. I want a cult violent group out of this thing, very similar to what Triple H wanted with Sanity on the main roster, less than he wants with being able to transport and do spooky things all the time. I think that the clues and the chase has been more intriguing to me. That's where I'm like, oh, I hope this doesn't pan out where they're all supernatural and they can get hit 1,000 times if they have a mask on and never be beat. But if you take the mask off, they're suddenly the wussiest, simplest wrestler you've ever seen. And there's a disconnect there for me if you do that. I want, if you're going to do supernatural, more Undertaker, but I would love to see more Waylon Mercy meets what Bray was doing with the Swamp Leader gimmick, with these all following the leadership of Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy being the leader, and they are the violent act behind it. They take out anybody that Uncle Howdy tells them to because he led them to this promised land. He made them believe in themselves once again, and the violent acts that he wants taken out on the right people, his targets, I want to see them brutal beatdowns to the point where they're more devastating as a group, I think, more than anything is how I'm looking at it. But that's my thought.
No, I think we're going to get a mixture of both. I think if Triple H gets his way, he wants a mixture. He loves that spooky bollocks. I think that's probably the right way to put it. And I think he also wants the chaos, and I think we're going to get both. I think that's what Bray. If you've seen the Bray Wyatt documentary of it, you saw the final form of what Bray Wyatt wanted for the next evolution of the Fiend, what was going to happen and the way he was going to move it forward. Yeah. I think you're going to get that type where it's, oh, I'm going to crap my pants and I hope my kids don't see it, to, oh my God, he's going to kill him. That type of thing. And I think they're going to, and also it's Triple H vision with, I can't remember, it's some, with the guy that was brought into WWE specifically for Bray Wyatt. That was it. That was his role. That's his job. That's all he does. He's specific. And I feel like that they wouldn't be releasing this if they didn't think that they had something right.
Oh, for
because
sure.
Because you do. So for me, I'm very excited to see, one, who their number one target's going to be, and two, how they're going to introduce everyone. Because are they going to be doing it slowly, week by week? Or are they going to all come out at once and do that creepy stuff? You know when Bray come back at Money in the Bank and he did that song, and then they shone a light at a certain person in the crowd, and they stood there. The Firefly Funhouse people were there in the crowd, and then the camera cut away, the light cut out, and then another light beamed somewhere else, and that's where someone else was there again. I think that's what they're going to do. And then all the lights are going to go out, and then they're all in the middle of the ring, and then it all cuts out, and that's the end of Raw. That's how I feel like this is going to go. And then the week after, they might then start coming back beating people up, or certain things happen. I feel like this is going to, I don't know whether this is going to be a slow introduction or this is going to be full metal.
No, Howdy promised a goddamn massacre, and a massacre is what we're going to get. This isn't going to be one beatdown. This is going to be multiple beatdowns. I think people are going to get beat down backstage, not on camera, throughout the night. And before the end of the night, you're going to get a reveal where somebody's in the ring, and all of a sudden the lights will go out. And when they come back on, every member of that damn group is going to be surrounding them. Yeah. And they are going to give an absolute massacre to whoever it is, like a beatdown of epic level proportions is what's going to happen. It is going to be something that people are going to be talking about for a while. You have to, if you're announcing a massacre and you don't deliver on a massacre and you go for the slow burn, you're not going to execute it properly. If, to me, you want an impact, the impact has to be they go there and there is a violent act committed on night number one. They have to look like they're going to be a group to be feared, and that's how they're going to do it.
Do you think they'll do it like Nexus? You remember when Nexus debuted and they literally ripped apart the whole ring and everybody around it? Do you think that's the way that they could do it as well, where they literally, anyone who goes near is just done for?
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Howdy said not to step in their way, or else, get out of the way. You've been warned. Stay out of the way, or you will be part of the massacre.
Howdy, is it Uncle Howdy? Is that who he's going to be portraying, or is it someone else?
That's just it.
The question. That's the question I have. Is it going to be Uncle Howdy, or is he going to be using that final form that Bray wanted to bring to life? That's who he's going to go for, or what are they going to do? I think I'm more intrigued about who's going to be doing what. And we all know Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross are going to do it. Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, by the way, is going to be in his absolute element in this. And this is his final shot for the Joe Gacy is going to be brilliant at this. Eric Rowan, we all know what Eric Rowan can do. He just does great things. You've got people, I think, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss, I'm very, very interested to see how they are portrayed. But you've got people who can portray their characters to perfection, to a certain level that can grow and moving forward. Now I want to know how they're going to do it. Is this where they're going to win the Raw Tag Team titles from Miz and then just don't really lose them? Are they going to go? Are they going to go after Damian Priest? But they can't really do much in that type of match. The question is, how much chaos are they going? What is the chaos? Who is the chaos? And who is the end goal for the chaos? That's what I want to know, and that's what I'm really excited to finding out.
If there was ever any connection to previous Wyatt stuff, that would be the people I'd be watching out for, especially people like LA Knight. How about main event Jey Uso should be watching his back, the eater of the eater of worlds, as he calls himself now. Maybe he had overstepped his boundaries and put himself in the line of fire. It's going to go a certain direction like that. I know that for sure, but you'll be able to possibly find that out on Monday night, hoping that people are going to get the chance. But we are kind of coming to the end of the show here, Mark. We are going to wrap up. And as we do so, not only am I going to put that banner up for you to tell people where you're at, but I got a little music here, I think, that was requested to play. So
good. Yes, please. Yes, please. It'd be very, very lovely of you. We could turn it down.
Just a touch.
Because and I'm hearing stuff that's been going on in the grapevine about WWE 2K24 on my channel, and I'm hearing that there's a certain people that after tomorrow night is the biggest night in our channel. You've got Roman Reigns versus The Rock in a Hell in a Cell SummerSlam match. And what I want to say to you guys is Bobby versus Lauren. Please, I will tell you this now in a little bit moving forward. They both should have died. It's as simple as that. And there's a certain group that you'll hear this music and you'll resonate with, right? Just listen to the music a little bit. And you know exactly who I'm talking about. I had a conversation with this guy after my general manager duties, and he told me he's been getting little whispers through the Fireflies. And he told me that two people are unhappy with me because of the way that I book or have booked shows or how I book matches. And I said, okay, tomorrow on Monday night on WWE Live, you will see the Wyatt takeover of WWE. What you will then see is later on in the week, there's two general managers that were giving it a bit of lip about me. I've got to point the other way. This guy here and a Lauren Goodnight that's been talking a little bit of shit about me. And let me just say one thing and one thing only. He heard it. He listened to it. And he will be coming to your brands this week. So, but you can stop it. All you have to do is let him in. Bobby, I have a question for you. Will you let him in?
I don't know if I have the appropriate noise, so I'm just going to mimic the sound of a door closing.
Well, this music you're going to be hearing a lot more of. Ladies and gentlemen, as I've now just been told in my ear by this person, Bobby, Lauren.
As Mark drops off the stream there, that's what you can expect from him coming up. As for myself, I'm just going to go ahead and throw some credentials up on the screen. That's where you're going to be able to find me. Of course, as with part of the WWE 2K24 universe mode over on Mark Talks Wrestling, that he's speaking about that big match between my tribal chief Roman Reigns on the NMLW side taking on The Rock representing AEW for Lauren Goodnight. Lauren better be watching out because my tribal chief is pissed and he's coming for blood tomorrow night. We'll deal with this hokey pokey Bray Wyatt coming on over. Bring it. That's all I could say. But right down below, that is my credentials where you can find me. As I'm drawn for time right now, I'm also trying to get over to the Twitch side of things, because for my friends over on the Twitch side of things, we want you to subscribe, follow, all those wonderful things to our good friend that we're going to be throwing this stream over to. It's our good friend Jose on the air. So we're going to find Jose here. And if I can figure out how to use Twitch anymore, we are going to go raid channel, search channel. I think this is working. Hold on here. Jose on the air. There we go. I obviously have not done a raid in quite some time, because clearly it looks a hell of a lot different than it has for the last little while since we started doing this channel. They have definitely updated the Twitch here, so I just getting the hang of it. You are heading over right now on that raid to Jose on air. Say hello to Jose. As I said, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, all those wonderful things. Jose is a great supporter of the channel. Thank you very much. Bobby saying MLW. Yes, MLW. And LOL. Yes, that's the... Not used to it, yes, but it is done. We are over there. If you're on the YouTube side of things, remember, if you're watching on the replay too, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and comment. We're always checking those comment section. Always appreciate you. Thank you for doing it in. From myself, from Mark, and everybody at OLE. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you tomorrow on